I start every patch with an Aurora MR, simple little RSI ship, but I always grind first to the Cutty Black.
Your vehicle has been delivered to the following
This ship is one of
station.
the first ones that drew me to Star Citizen, just because it was so unique and interesting in the design of it and the form and function of what it does. But it's a medium-sized multi-crew ship, and fortunately, you can solo pilot it, and it does pretty well on its own. But it's a lot of fun when you have someone you can throw in the turret as well. The large rear thrusters, the outside of the ship, it's just very unique in the way of the ship design. And so coming into the back, we've got a cargo ramp to easily load cargo and or vehicles, which you can fit quite a few in here. And inside the ship, it's very, industrial aesthetic. It feels like a ship you could just work on. I've always been one to kind of work on my own vehicles and things, and so it just feels like the kind of ship where you could do that as opposed to some of the fancier ones. So some fuse storage, the side bay doors you can open. You can actually jump up into the vehicle from these. The main cabin, there's the turret. It's over here. If you go inside and up, get the power turned on here. So in the turret, this is two other size 3s. Right now there's laser repeaters on there. You can swap it out with different kinds, but I tend to keep laser repeaters on everything for simplicity and for PvP options. And as you can see, my little character in here, and so moving the CF repeaters up and down, you can see that I pivot inside the seat as well. And just kind of little touches that are interesting. So that's the turret for second crewmate. And technically this is up to a 3-person ship if you have one in the turret and then one in the co-pilot and one in the pilot seat. We've got a 2-person bed though, and then a rifle rack here. So the rifle rack, you can hold a few regular assault rifle type weapons. You can see they lock in there for easy access. At some point in the future, it may be where you can't just walk around with weapons on your back the whole time, and so those may be more reasonable to have. There's some internal storage here as well as the cargo grid that's in the back, lets you just kind of throw some different things in here. And then up to the cockpit. Let's close the door first. We need to secure. And in the future, those will be more lockable. Right now, it's difficult to get inside of a vehicle when it's not yours initially, but as soon as you're in, you're pretty much free reign of everything. So I like the uniqueness of how when you step into the cockpit and the seat, it raises up into the canopy window. So getting everything powered on, and then again with the Cutty Black, it has a VTOL mode that when you VTOL, it actually pivots the ship thrusters. And so you can take off vertically a lot easier this way, and it really gives you a lot of speed very quickly. So it's also good in fights because you can do some maneuvers that are difficult to use like side and forward thrust with, but being able to jump up quickly is good. Close up all of our doors, and as we move around to the front, it's kind of some more CF repeaters. Those are the 4 size 3 CF repeaters that are on the pilot controlled weapons. When you're in your own hangar, you can kind of do whatever you want and not worry about getting in trouble, but if you step outside the station, don't fire at stuff. Alright, so we'll do a little quick demo of the VTOL. So taking off straight vertical. We're at ArcCorp in Area 18, and going through here. So as we pivot around, we'll rotate back into non-VTOL mode and raise the landing gear and head straight up away from the planet. And as we do, we can look back and kind of see the goings-on of Area 18 as we're leaving. It's always something that I do because you can look back and see vehicles or whatever. It's really neat. So we took a mission and we're gonna try and get some action here.
Welcome, Rook. We'll get started in a moment.
So this is just like a multi-missile crew attack that we're going up against. So I need to get in close to ensure they don't just missile spam me.
Looks like you got inbound. Weapons free.
And so our first ship that we're up against, it's just going to be a Freelancer. This is probably a Freelancer miss, which is kind of the military variant with, again, a large missile boat, and it's got some additional turrets. So shooting laser repeaters from far away, we do less damage, but we can go ahead and start taking down the shields a little bit. And then as we see now, we're starting to put damage on the actual hull itself. And as you, I'm not doing lag pip, so I'm just kind of aiming for center mass mostly here. But we'll get this one taken down pretty quickly. Yeah. And see what's next. Okay. So that's a Vanguard of some kind. That's a Saber. So we'll go after him first because he's got some ballistics, so he can do a little bit of damage directly to our hull. Not a lot because the shields will mitigate it, but just to make sure that he's taken out quick. The 4 size 3 repeaters on this thing are really nice for some of the smaller ships because you can take them out really quick. It's a great little kind of like multi-purpose ship. It's pretty good in combat. If you get too much damage taken too quickly, the giant rear thrusters are a pretty sore spot when it comes to taking damage, because if you lose one of those thrusters, you've got to really do some special work to get it to limp back to landing pad. So got another Freelancer here. Just throw some damage on him. And then last is the Sentinel. That was a long fight, so we cut that down a little bit, just chasing him around. You can see the kind of bluish electricity. That's the distortion repeaters that the Sentinel has that it's throwing at me.
Right,
so
that wraps up this lesson. Fantastic work. Seems like you're developing a real aptitude for combat. Hopefully the next lesson...
The size 2 shields of the Cutty really do good for mitigating damage against other opponents. It's really nice. Also, with taking down ships, some of these have cargo, like this Altrucia toxin, which is drugs, and then some quartz and things in them. So technically, you can tractor beam those into your ship, take them back, and sell them at different locations. But we'll kind of use this as an option to show you what getting close and hopping out into EVA looks like from the Cutty Black. It's one of the other reasons that I love this ship, is just the ability to like I said, multi-roll it, so you can do combat, you can do cargo hauling. There's about 40, I think it's 46 SCUs of cargo for the back. And then also, whenever you're doing fights against either player opponents, make sure my helmet's on, or NPCs, you can actually take the items off their ship or take the cargo from their ship once it's destroyed, and load that into yours and go back and sell it somewhere. So there's really nothing in this one that I want, but play around here at EVA for a second. We'll hop back in, and then we'll take off and close it. Actually, maybe we'll go ahead and we'll just load the cannons that are on this Freelancer. So it's got, those are M5As or size 3 cannons. So if we wanted to, we could take these off, throw them even on this Cutlass if I unlock the ports. I don't generally use cannons unless it's just for NPC hunting, because they're a little bit slower on the fire rate. They're a lot harder to hit with when it comes to someone who's actually good at flying. So, but just as a demonstration of kind of what you can do with taking either cargo or equipment off of another ship. You can also, if the ship has removable components like coolers or power plants or things, shield emitters, you can take all those off too and load them in the back of your ship and take them back to your main hangar and store them or sell them. And then I could swap these out to other ships or do other things with them as I'd like. So we'll close up, say bye to the Freelancer, and heading back to Area 18. So coming in, Area 18 is a company planet, basically, where they have put buildings and facilities all over the entire planet. There's hardly any of the actual ArcCore planet itself that is not covered in buildings and or residential or infrastructure. So, but as we come in a little closer and call up a hangar, I always just love the sites that are in Star Citizen. Coming into our landing bay. See if we can get a hangar called. Yeah, we're close enough. So should be able to get something to pop. There we go. All right. And then sometimes landing the Cutty can be a little bit dicey depending on the hangar they give you. They've gotten better about, since they've gone to instanced hangars, giving you, at least something that's relatively the size. I've had to land this thing in a small hangar before, and it's not always fun. Medium's usually pretty easy. It's pretty clean, so we'll kind of angle in. I'm in decoupled mode right now, so I'll just kind of glide towards the location. ArcCorp and its surrounding moons are a little bit lower gravity, so you're not as likely to fall out of the sky, but we'll swap into VTOL mode regardless, make it a little easier for us to get that landing inside the hangar. Nice and easy. Straighten her up a tad and drop her in. All right. So let's unload those cannons that we took. We'll kind of zip through this, skip a beat. Now this mini tractor beam that I've got is a smaller one, so it doesn't quite reach the distance. So I've got to do kind of like stages of staging the cannons and then throw them into the freight elevator after the fact. The instance hangars and freight elevators are relatively new additions to Star Citizen. So there were other ways of dealing with like your inventory and your base and things like that, but now it all comes to this one hangar. And depending on if you're at your home hangar, you can actually make those things a little bit persistent. So if you scatter things around in the hangar, they'll usually stick around. So we'll load those down. Again, I could sell those or load them onto different vehicles. Close up the back. And I'll give you an example of jumping into the little side doors here, which is, again, something that's also kind of relatively new for being able to hold space and just kind of leap up into areas. So from kind of an external view here, holding space, you can jump and pull yourself up and do some mantling of things. So kind of nice. But we'll close this thing up and close up our brief summary of the Cutty Black. Again, I just love the multi-role functionality of this vehicle. The repeaters that are pilot controlled are great, as well as what's up on the turret itself. So if you do have a friend you can throw in, just a really good kind of like solid amount of DPS that it puts out. But other than that, it's also just a really good multi-role for cargo hauling
Welcome
or zipping
to the
around
ASOC
and just kind of
retrieval
exploring the
system.
verse.
Your vehicle has been moved to a phase where
So
it is again.
storing it, and we'll say bye-bye to the black. Don't worry, friend. We'll see you again soon.